Ladies and gentlemen, may I please have your attention? Please have your tickets in hand before you board the plane. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Johan Castell and you're watching Wings. On the show today, we visit the sporting paradise of Ladakh in northern India and go for a bicycle ride among marathon runners. We also showcase highlights of Teej celebrations and cover a spiritual festival in Kathmandu. Let's begin. If you're looking for a different way to experience Ladakh, this might be it. Every September, thousands of runners from India and around the world head to Leh for one of the highest marathon events on the planet. Last year, I went to see what it was all about. Take a look. Most travelers come to Ladakh for its mountains, monasteries and road trips, but there is another way to experience this high-altitude landscape. Run through it. Every September, athletes from across India and the world arrive in Leh for the Ladakh Marathon. This year, the event returns from September 10 to 13 with its biggest prize pool yet. The 13th Ladakh Marathon will offer 1 crore in prize money, the highest in its history. More than 10,000 visitors are expected. The 72-kilometer Kardung La Challenge and 122-kilometer Silk Route Ultra take competitors across the legendary Kardung La Pass, more than 5,300 meters above sea level. More than 500 ultra runners are expected to attempt the 2 events this year. Then attention shifts back to Leh. The final race day brings together the full marathon, half marathon, 11.2-kilometer run and shorter events. And last year I decided to see what the half marathon experience actually looks like. There was only one problem. I was nowhere near ready to run 21 kilometers at this altitude. Leh sits more than 3,500 meters above sea level. Your body needs time to adjust before taking on strenuous exercise here. So while thousands of runners put on their running shoes, I chose another option.
You might be wondering what I'm doing here. On a bicycle. Well, I'm in no shape to run a marathon, but I figured I could join on a bicycle and see what kind of sights and landscapes you can see if you are on a mountain bike or if you were to take part in the Ladakh Marathon. I'm in no shape to do it this year, but maybe sometime in the future.
The 21.1-kilometer half marathon starts and finishes at the NDS Memorial Stadium in Leh. From there, the route moves through the outskirts of the city and into a very different landscape. Mountains surround the course, traditional homes and small settlements appear along the road, and even with 2 wheels helping me along, the altitude quickly makes itself felt.
Alright, well, I'm stopping to shoot all the time, but whenever it's a downhill, I'm kind of coasting pretty nicely. It's so scenic. But whenever there's an uphill, I'm even seeing runners pass me. They're so much fitter than I am. Delay!
That atmosphere follows runners along the route. Residents come out to encourage them. Aid stations offer water and food, and athletes taking on very different distances cross paths through the morning. Some have even returned after completing the ultra events.
Well, I'm sure for a lot of runners, seeing the halfway point is the best sight they've seen in a while. It must be tiring. I'm pretty tired just bicycling. Here we have a Kardung La Challenge finisher going for a leisurely stroll.
Cheers, man.
As the half marathon continued, I took a short detour to find runners tackling the full 42.2 kilometers.
So down this road are the people that set off first, the people that are going for the full marathon. First, second, and third. I believe the fourth as well has already passed. I'm just going down this direction to see if we can find any runners coming back on the full marathon. Here's one. Go, go, go! Very determined, very focused.
Eventually, I made it back to the finish. Growth is already having an impact beyond the finish line. Organizers expect the 2026 event to generate more than 70,000 overnight stays. They estimate visitors could spend between 40 and 47 crore Indian rupees on accommodation, food, shopping and regional travel. That means business for family-run guest houses, homestays, restaurants, taxi operators and shops across Ladakh. As the monsoon paints the landscape green, it also brings a season of festivals, traditions and rituals. Among them is Teej, a celebration of devotion, marital happiness and the sacred union of Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. But what is the meaning of Teej? Let us tell you more about it.
Teej, a term that has come from the Sanskrit word Teja, which literally means third. It marks the third day after the new moon, which is Amavasya, and the full moon, which is Purnima, in the Hindu Purnima calendar. A collection of 3 festivals, Teej has been closely associated with women for generations. Married women observe fasts and offer prayers for the health and longevity of their husbands, marital harmony and family prosperity. Haryali Teej, Kajri Teej and Hartalika Teej are the 3 distinct celebrations, each having their own customs, stories and significance. The first of the 3 is Haryali Teej, celebrated during Shravan or Savan, when the monsoon transformed the landscape into a sea of green. This year, Haryali Teej was celebrated on the 15th of August. The color itself becomes symbolic of greenery, prosperity and new beginnings. Women dress in green saris and suits, adorn themselves with glass bangles and intricate henna and celebrate with beautifully decorated swings or jhulas. Traditional songs fill homes and neighborhoods while prayers are offered to Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati.
आज हम शिव पार्वती जी का आज पुनर्मिलन हुआ था 108 साल के बाद जब पार्वती जी कठिन तपस्या की थी तो आज के दिन ही शिव जी ने उन्हें प्राप्त किया था पत्नी के रूप में.
The Jaipur royal family also celebrated the annual Teej festival with traditional rituals at the historic city palace, giving a glimpse into the vibrant festivities. These include Goddess Teej's grand procession, folk melodies, as well as the timeless beauty of Rajasthani traditions. Then comes Kajri Teej, also known as Badi Teej or Kajalia Teej. According to the Hindu lunar calendar, this festival is observed on the 3rd day of the full moon during Shravan. This year, the celebration falls on the 31st of August. The celebration echoes across Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh and in parts of Haryana and Jharkhand. A distinctive feature of Kajri Teej is the worship of the sacred neem tree or a branch of the neem tree, revered as Neem Mata, an embodiment of divine motherly protection, health and healing energy. Another highlight of this particular Teej are the soulful Kajri songs, the traditional folk melodies sung during the dark monsoon season. And then comes the Hartalika Teej. This year, the festival falls on the 14th of September. Of the 3 Teej festivals, this is considered particularly significant for its association with Goddess Parvati's determination. Hartalika. The word comes from Harat, which means abduction, and Alika means female friend. According to Hindu mythology, Parvati's friends secretly took her into a forest to prevent her marriage to Lord Vishnu. The idea was to allow her to continue her penance for Lord Shiv. Eventually, her devotion was rewarded. Lord Shiv accepted Parvati as his wife, and that is why Hartalika Teej has come to symbolize determination, devotion, and divine blessings. Women traditionally observe a strict Nirjala fast, going without food and water. They may create clay idols of Lord Shiv and Goddess Parvati and worship them through the day. The fast is broken only after the prescribed rituals are completed the following day. A festival that is dedicated to women, 3 different expressions but the same enduring story of faith and commitment. So mark your calendar if you want to witness the rest of the Teej festivities in the cities near you.
An ancient tradition of serpent worship is being observed across Nepal. On Nag Panchami, devotees offer prayers and milk to Nag, the serpent god, while homes across the country display images of snakes as symbols of protection. Here's a look at the traditions and beliefs surrounding the festival.
Across Nepal, devotees are observing Nag Panchami, a centuries-old Hindu festival dedicated to Nag, or the serpent god. Devotees visit temples and sacred water bodies, offering prayers, flowers, milk, and other offerings to the serpent deity. In Kathmandu, devotees also pour milk over deities of the serpent god as they pay their respects.
When you worship the snake god, everyone respects it. Instead of killing the snake, people worship and preserve it. The serpent god holds great value and is believed to do good for everyone. It is said that the Nag takes away all poisons. Therefore, on this day, we should share this message with everyone. We should not kill this creature.
On Nag Panchami, many households also place or paste pictures of serpents above the main entrance of their homes. According to religious belief, these images protect residents from harm and safeguard the household against calamities. The tradition of serpent worship is believed to date back to the Vedic period.
It feels so good to come here. Coming here feels like being at the Gosainkun sacred pond in northern Nepal. There is also king of the serpent gods here, as well as Lord Shiva. So wherever you go, if you remember, you will find God.
In Vedic tradition, Nag is revered as the king of serpents and is associated with protection, fertility, and the forces of nature. In the Kathmandu Valley, Nag Pokri, Taudaha, and Nagdaha are among the prominent sites where devotees gather to observe the festival. For many devotees, the festival is therefore a time to seek protection, prosperity, and well-being for their families.
Last week, millions of people across Europe looked to the skies for one of the decade's most spectacular celestial events. From Iceland to Spain, the moon briefly crossed in front of the sun, turning daylight into twilight for some and creating unforgettable scenes for sky watchers across the continent. Here's a look at how the solar eclipse unfolded across Europe. For a few minutes last week, millions of people stopped what they were doing and looked up. On August 12th, a total solar eclipse swept across the North Atlantic and Europe, drawing travelers to coastlines, cities, and remote viewpoints for one of nature's rarest spectacles. The path of totality crossed parts of Greenland and Iceland before reaching Portugal and Spain, while much of Europe experienced a partial eclipse. A solar eclipse happens when the moon passes between the Earth and the Sun. Inside the narrow path of totality, the moon completely blocks the Sun for a short period. Outside that path, viewers see only part of the Sun disappear. This time, the moon's shadow traveled more than 8,000 kilometers, much of it over the Atlantic. Maximum totality lasted just over 2 minutes. For eclipse chasers, location was everything. In Greenland, cruise ships position themselves to give passengers a better chance of experiencing the event away from city lights and changing weather. In Nuuk, viewers saw a deep partial eclipse, while other parts of Greenland fell inside the path of totality. Further east, Iceland became one of the biggest travel hotspots of the day. Reykjavik and the country's western coastline attracted visitors hoping to combine the eclipse with Iceland's volcanic landscapes and long summer evenings. For photographers and eclipse enthusiasts alike, one of the biggest risks of eclipse watching remained clouds, and not everyone was in luck for a good viewing. Then the moon's shadow raced south towards the Iberian Peninsula. Spain became the main stage. It was the first total solar eclipse visible from mainland Spain in more than a century, from León and A Coruña to Aragon and parts of Mallorca. People gathered in open fields, town squares, beaches and hilltop viewpoints. In León, totality lasted close to 2 minutes. Further east, the eclipse arrived shortly before sunset, creating a rare sight as the darkened sun hovered low over the horizon. Some people even chased the eclipse from the air. Aircraft positioned above the clouds offered passengers a clear view of the moon's shadow and the changing light below. And in Spain, Olympic skateboarder Dani León found another way to mark the occasion. He timed a jump to coincide with the eclipse reaching its peak, creating a silhouette against the darkened sun. For most viewers, the total eclipse lasted less than 2 minutes, but for travelers who crossed oceans, boarded ships, and climbed hills to find the perfect viewing spot, the journey lasted much longer. And with a major eclipse already on the horizon, eclipse tourism may only be getting started. In El Salvador, walls once marked by gang control are being transformed into vibrant works of public art. A traveling mural festival is turning neighborhoods into open-air galleries. Here's the story.
Urban artists are transforming spaces once marked by gang violence into large-scale murals as the traveling street art festivals move across El Salvador. In Concepcion de Ataco, a picturesque town in Ahuachapan surrounded by coffee-growing mountains about 64 kilometers west of San Salvador, a dozen artists have been painting jaguars, faces, flowers, birds, and other local themes across walls and homes.
Logramos un par de años después ganarle los muros a la
What if we managed to get back the walls from the gangs through art? I've always thought that art is a magical tool, a tool for social transformation that, if you know how to use it and make it available to the people, you can achieve great things. And I think I experienced that personally, how art changed my life, changed my destiny.
A nivel personal lo viví, como el arte cambió mi vida, cambió mi rumbo.
For years, many residents and artists were reluctant to enter gang-controlled neighborhoods because of intimidation and harassment. That has changed as gangs have lost much of their control following President Nayib Bukele's security crackdown launched in 2022.
You had to know exactly where you were going to be, who you were going to be painting the mural with because we couldn't be ignorant. It wasn't enough to just say, "Why are you painting here? I don't know." I mean, I just showed up.
¿Por qué estás pintando acá? Ah, no sé, o sea, yo solo vine, no.
Since the festival began, more than 200 murals have been created. Salvadoran artists have been joined by painters from Colombia, Mexico, Brazil, Peru, and Argentina. Artists say they can now work in neighborhoods that were once considered too dangerous to enter without extreme caution. Residents have also welcomed the transformation. Some say the murals represent a visible sign of change, replacing fear and territorial markings with public art and color.
Pues la verdad, pues, con el temor y la...
Well, to be honest, with the fear and the gangs that dominated our country, this art was a hidden, secret art kept out of sight. It couldn't be set in motion or made known because the gangs had the country intimidated.
de que las pandillas tenían intimidado al país.
That's all we have for you on the show this week, but we return with more next weekend. Until then, it's me, Johan Castell, signing off. Goodbye.
It feels very special, it feels very good. It shows that we don't need much to bring people together, and hopefully the world is going to learn that as well, and we will bring the world together with the little things.
I think it's one of the biggest omelets in the world. So I like it, yeah. I like it because the taste is pretty good. There is bacon, there is onions.